Rev up your engines!
Now here's some great information so you can avoid those cash or crash people that having you crash into their car so they can collect insurance money. Here's how you can avoid some of those. If you see somebody in front of you for no reason at all slamming their brakes on, get in another lane or slam your brakes on fast. Swerve out of the way, because a lot of them, what they'll do is they'll pull right in front of you and they'll slam on their brakes, because if you hit somebody on a highway, it's your fault regardless of what happens. So if you see people zooming around you and then pull in front of you, ease up on the gas, maybe go into another lane. That's one of the big scams that they do. Now another one is called flash for a crash. You're driving and somebody flashes their headlights at you to let you in, but then they run right into you and they say, well, that person turned right in front of me. So if somebody is doing that, ignore them. Just wait for the traffic to pass through and then turn. Don't pull in front of somebody who's flashing their lights at you, because they could be suckering you in and then they'll run into you and said, hey, he turned left right in front of me. It's his fault. Another one is if you get in an accident, a guy says, hey, pay me some money, I'll go away. Don't do it. They'll run into you. They want cash. They don't want to get involved with insurance companies, because if they do it all the time, it's going to be on record that these people are doing this stuff and they'll get caught. So anybody says, oh, they'll take a certain amount of money and they'll go away. Don't give them any money. Wait for the police. Let the insurance companies take care of it. The absolute worst one, which is a lot harder to figure out, is when it's a hired crash, where it's a team of people, where one guy has his partner, and what they do is they set up a crash so that it looks like it's your fault, but they're actually watching you and they're hiding at corners and getting ready to pull out. So always be leery. If anybody seems to be following you, either speed up or slow down. Just keep your eyes on it. I know it sounds a little paranoid, like one of those gangster movies, like, hey, are they following us? But it's a good idea to see if anybody is following you these days, you know? And if you think somebody is, don't get out in the middle of nowhere. Just keep going. And if you think that there is a problem, call the police. And then you can stick your phone out and go like, I called the police, and they'll generally run away then, because they don't want to get caught. There are people doing illegal stuff, and I'm sure they've got records, half of them, for doing things. They don't want the police to get involved. So if push comes to shove, hey, call the police. Just like this Australian video I watched last year, where this guy was in road rage and he was talking to the police the whole time saying, this guy's coming at me, what do I do? And they gave him some advice and he got out of it, and he ended up arresting the crazy guy who started the whole thing. So be leery of what's happening around you, and always have a cell phone just in case there's a problem. Bumba asks Scotty, why do car dealerships price themselves out of business on parts and service compared to aftermarket and other mechanics? You pretty much answered it there. They're greedy people. They have a tremendous overhead. You go to an independent shop, they might have an overhead of maybe a couple $100,000 a year, tops. And if it's a small shop, less than that. You go to a dealership, they got an overhead of $2 million or more. They got to pay for everybody that's working there. The space, the rent if they don't own the property, the insurance, the air conditioning, and then they got to pay the service advisors. And the owner, of course, wants to make a lot of profit. They just jack everything up. Now, I find it amusing myself, because they got so bad here in Texas. I went to a Chevy dealer once, and a set of brake pads for their truck was $99. You get them at AutoZone at the time for $15. And I'm like, what a ripoff, you know? So next time I went to a dealer, because I had to get a part that only the dealer had, I looked and they said, oh, look, now we have better, lower priced brake pads. They were just buying aftermarket pads and selling them. Now, they weren't selling them for $15. They were selling them for like $39. But it was cheaper than the $99. Even they were starting to sell the aftermarket stuff, because they realized they weren't going to sell hardly anything. But they don't care, because they're big businesses and they want to make a lot of money. They want to mark stuff up, and they really don't care about their customers one iota. Same as if you go to like a CarMax and buy a car. The prices there, they're huge conglomeration places. They get all these workers, and you got to pay every tax, title, license, every penny they can squeeze out of you, they'll squeeze out of you. If you don't want to pay it, you don't go there. And so you're obviously a wise person. You obviously don't go there, and just continue not to go there, and you won't get ripped off. Dave Valley says, Scotty, I got a 2000 Nissan Frontier V6 standard transmission, 187,000 miles. Service engine light came on. They said the cats were plugged up, so I gutted them out, and now, it's not running right. If you gut the cats are still there, the shells, but there's nothing inside them. Technically, it's against the law. You're not allowed to do it in the United States. You're breaking federal law. If you gutted them or took them off and just put pipes in place, the computer's going to know that there's no catalytic converter by the readings that it gets from the oxygen sensors. So you're always going to get check engine lights come on. Now, if you lived in a state, say, that doesn't do emissions testing like Montana or something, no one's going to know. A lot of people will just say, yeah, I'll just drive it that way, it runs better. But if you live in a state that requires emissions, it's never going to pass the emissions test because the computer is going to know that something's wrong with the cat and it's going to keep tripping particular codes on it. Now, since it's a 20-year-old Frontier, I mean, if it's a knock-around truck and you're driving around, heck, keep driving it. But don't throw any more money in it. It'd be stupid. Maybe sell it to somebody who wants an off-road truck to go deer hunting or something. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.